Hi guys, we're back. We're here to do Married at First Sight. Season 18, the episode is the reunion part 2. So, the episode begins where it left off last time with David being asked about the timeline. And they were talking about the text message. So, Kevin was saying, you look so damn fine. I can't wait to eat you up. That's not what the message said. And David's so stupid. So there are actually a couple of things that make me go, really, David? Like, are you serious, David? And that whole text message gate was just one of them. You know, that he couldn't be more quick. He knew that it was a possibility that she could have saw that message. And he should have been thinking of what he was going to say when he realized that he sent it to the wrong number. So that was his first problem, is that he blew it off. And then when she posted him up about it, he wasn't ready with an answer. So then to reach, all he was thinking about was that his cousin was going to cover for him. He wasn't thinking about the lie that he told. He was like, oh, well, I can say anything, and she's going to cover for me. Until she didn't, David. That was just kind of ridiculous. And so now he's sitting here on national TV. He can't even remember what he wrote. He's trying to defend himself and say, well, no, we weren't, intimate. We haven't been doing anything. The first kiss was, here and there on TV. This was legitimate. This is what happens when you start telling lies. And it's like the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. You lie so much that people just choose when they're going to decide to believe you. And this is the consequence of just telling such, not just blatant lies, but just stupid ones. Just ignorant ones. I mean, you would have to be an idiot to believe what you said. So it's like people are giving Michelle all this credit about being Nancy Drew. It was a stupid lie. It was a ridiculous lie. You do not have to be Nancy Drew in order to understand that this was a lie that he was telling. And then the whole defensiveness. He erased the message and this, that, and the third. Lord. Okay, so yeah, I have a problem with David and his lies. That was ridiculous and it was unnecessary. The other problem that I have with David is his just, sometimes he doesn't seem like he's a step or two behind in his cognition. Because not being able to quickly think on his feet and defend himself in the actual message that he sent. He could have just put Kevin Frazier right in his little spot if he had that wherewithal about the message that he sent. I understand more about the message that he sent than he did. That's retarded. When it's your communication and you know that you're going to be skewered. It's almost like they haven't watched the same episodes that we watched. Because I remember, I was going to bring this up with Michelle, but I might as well talk about it now. When she's asking the experts about rumors, she's asking them about rumors that she's heard on the internet about their business when we all watched or had the opportunity to watch the matchmaking episode. And I sat there and saw them pick Michelle, pick David, sit at the table and talk about it and say we found our couple. So I don't even understand. I mean, the level of retardation. So she can't even talking about David being a step behind. If this is kind of nuttiness that you're asking the experts on national television, Michelle, that is that is a level of stupid and retarded. You're listening to people on the internet tell you about a show that they know absolutely nothing about other than rumor and innuendo. You're bringing rumors to national television. That was just, I mean, I was trying to give her credit for finally coming clean that she needed to, give David an apology for that mess that she, put us through. And then she turned around and did that. I'm right back to having absolutely no respect for her because she only did it halfway anyway. She still doesn't think that what she did was reason enough for this door to be opened and for us to be looking at said mess that we're looking at. She still doesn't want to take responsibility for that part. So she's only taking a part of responsibility. And when she did that next thing, I was like, okay, see, yeah, you still don't get it. But anyway, I digress. So we're talking about David and them at this episode, at this juncture in the episode. So David is kind of cooperating with Kevin. He's going down this road that Kevin is going down. And then he just started talking. I encourage you guys to go down there and watch the videos. The first one, it says Maths Reunion 2. It has Reunion 2 on it because I just put Reunion for the rest of them. And it's that video. Go back and look at it. It's just crazy. I'm looking at David like, boy, if I was Madison, I would be back there. If we had discussed that we were going to keep the conversation at a point and he veered off that point, then I know that she had some words for him. I don't know what their communication was, but he was just being a little bit too, well, let me say unnecessary too. So it was just unnecessary information. And the whole, what was it? He wanted to see if he still had it. That I do understand, but I don't think that's anything that needed to be communicated to the audience. My perspective, and I wish that he had just, if he gonna keep it, just keep it. Don't give information that doesn't need to be given, especially to people who really don't need to know your business anyway. I mean, I was curious just to see if they were still together. I didn't need to know the ins and outs and the ups and the downs and all of that. But, it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting scene. And like I said, y'all go down there and watch that. I was disappointed in David. And not that Michelle has any room herself, but I could see some legitimate, things she actually could have talked about, that was bothering her. Like she was talking about how his amount of finances was worrisome, to her because she had been communicating to Pia that she didn't want to go back to being at the trailer park or down home or wherever she from out there yonder. I'm from the country, so I'm not ashamed of having grown up in the country and having, a different lifestyle. So that's something that Michelle, she keeps talking about. She's almost, well then she was saying that she's almost 40, but she was harping on where David was in his life. Girl, you need to make peace. It's time for you to make peace with your trailer trash beginnings. You can't let this be a sword of Damocles over your head. You're not living in the trailer trash park right now, but what you are doing is you're projecting. You think that you're projecting strength, and I've worked my ass off, and I'm accomplished, and I am poised, and this. And on some level, yeah, you are. But only because I was able to see you during these episodes that I can see that this is all a mask. And I know I used to do it too. So that's another reason why I understand where Michelle is and her mess. She needs to make peace with how she grew up. I mean, it is what it is. She didn't have any control over that. That was, her parents. She had to, live the way that they provided. And I don't know why she is dragging that around with her. She's even made that such a point that she couldn't even have a marriage. She couldn't even give David a real opportunity, because she's dragging around feelings that she actually has no control over. She had no control over where she how she grew up. So why do you keep dragging that around with you? She needs to deal with that, or else it's gonna keep coming up. I can tell you that's a testimony. It's gonna keep coming up. So what else we got here? I'm not gonna go over the whole episodes. I did want to, just really, David. Can't you, boy? I mean, he gets on my nerves. I'm really happy that Madison has patience, with him. And I wanted to also add on here too my thoughts. Um, when they got to Dr. Pepper and them talking, Pia asked her a question. She said, well, when was it to the point? When did she realize that she was willing to go all out, for whatever was going on, between her and David? And she said that there was a time when he was, really just expressing him. He was being very vulnerable and he was expressing himself to her. And this is where the title comes from, and that I'm glad that he got away from her. Because, like I've been stating it on my reviews and I've been putting it in the comments. I grew up in rural Alabama back in the 70s, 80s. And my grandparents, were still alive. And my grandfather, he was not a gentleman. I'll put it that way. Um, and just, they came up a different way. And their communication was a different way. And so my parents kind of got that, way about them, as well. I'm having problems with my dad right now. I'm digressing again because he doesn't want to change the way that he communicates with me. And in order for us to be able to have a healthy um, dialogue and healthy, relationship, he's going to have to do something about that. And I'm trying to figure out how to have that conversation, with him. So anybody out there that, can give a prayer, I appreciate that because, I've been really struggling with how to do it in a way that he's going to be mad anyway, but I just want to be as appropriate as I possibly can and let the chips, fall, where they may. So anyway, where are we? What else did I want to talk about? Juan and Karla. Child. Okay, if I don't put up the rest of the video, then go back to that little piece of video that I have up there. It's like maybe 40 seconds long or something like that, where he's talking. I think he's driving in a car. The tea is piping hot on Karla and Juan. I think I'm gonna try to upload that tonight. After I finish this, let's see. What happens. But anyway, looking at them on this, and then now seeing what's happening today, I don't know how to comment. I don't know how to. I do want to say that I'm happy that I was right. That she should have just left them alone, like she said at the apartment when they were packing up. She had her first mind was the right thing, and I think she backtracked on it. And then now these are the repercussions of her decision to backtrack. And I don't know. I'm interested in hearing what other people have to say. I don't see any comments, down there about the video, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. I mean, they seem really cordial. And in another video, I'll link that one. One is from Tamara Lynette Tales. I used to watch her stuff, and I'm gonna give her a shout out. I'm giving her a shout out because she's one of the few people who I think was more fair in her assessment of this mess between David, Madison, and Michelle. I'm gonna leave Alan out of it because he didn't have nothing. He didn't have any of this level of mess to do with it. His stuff was tangential. So we're looking at the main. We're looking at the meaty parts of this here soup mess that we looking at. Okay, so she's good. I liked what she's done, and She has the one with the. This is where the Juan video, is coming from. So y'all go and check her out. I like what she's doing. I actually kind of want to do a play on what she's doing. Um, if I could ever build me a community, but that is neither here nor there. I digress again. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Juan and Karla now. I did. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. So the other video that I'm gonna link, I forgot what the name of it was, but um it's a different podcast, and they have an interview with Karla, and she does sound a lot like she sounded on the reunion. So there is congruency there. The incongruency is with Juan. If you go back and you look at this video that I'm going to put down there, or that I'm going to load up, if you go and check it out, then you'll see that what he's saying today is different than what he said on the reunion. And I don't like that kind of incongruency. See, Nancy Drew need to be taking out her microscope and put it on her magnifying glass and putting it on Juancho. I bet she ain't got nothing to say about that though. While she up in Alan and Madison's, marriage. So anyway, where we at? So I think he's talking to the experts, and then that's when he brings Alan and he either talked to the experts, he talked to the guys. One of them happened. I don't care about what the guys, talked about. So, but anyway, so we're talking to the experts, and they talked to Michelle and Alan was saying that he feels. I'm paraphrasing. I think he feels judged because he came on the show, and so I think there's some kind of acclamation that he's kind of going through coming off the show and then trying to date and then having to tell people, if he feels like this is a person he's really interested in seeing again, then he starts confessing that he was on this show. So I thought that what he had to say was interesting. And then I already talked to you about the stupidity that came out of Michelle's mouth. My goodness. Oh, and then that's when she admitted that she had mistreated David, and her attitude was just ill and improper, and she apologized to him. And I wonder, since we on who was that? Tamara Lynette Tell said this. She said that she thought that was interesting because what was it that Michelle? Okay, hold up. She said that she thought that it was interesting that Michelle said that she didn't she had a question about David, that she felt that that he wasn't authentic, that he had inauthenticity about him. And I like the point that Tamara made, in her video that contradicted, the stuff that this man came with to you. You had no proof whether or not he was actually telling you the truth or not. So for you just to look at somebody, and I hate people like this. I've had to suffer this my entire life, and y'all need to cut this mess out. You can't just look at somebody and then think you know. That is going to lead you down such an erroneous road. You need facts. You need to gather information more than what you have. And Michelle cannot judge this man. I don't care if he ain't got two nickels to rub together. He presented himself. His family backed him up. They did a home inspection of this man's place. And they deemed him worthy to come on the show. They've done this for 18 seasons, Michelle. So see, this is the part of where I'm on the soapbox of how much did these people investigate before they came on the show. I mean, if you look at Juan and you listen to him and his rationale of his outlook on how he was going to approach the show, that sounds nothing like marriage. That is not what marriage is. So he came in not even understanding what the assignment was. And so did Michelle. You don't come into a marriage and then think, oh, well, this is just temporary. So I have 8 weeks, and if I don't like the size or the fit, I can just put it back on the shelf and then walk out the door and get an annulment. That's not the way that you're supposed to be approaching the experiment. You're supposed to be approaching it as if it's a marriage, because that's what it is. And now these people are regulating or relegating, excuse me, they are relegating this show down to some feeling or idea, more of an idea than a feeling, that they have about marriage that is completely untrue. So everybody that's up here jumping up and down about the sanctity and the seriousness of marriage, again, y'all gonna have to put everybody up there that's guilty of this. Ikechi is guilty of it. I think the only two people who are not guilty of this is Karla, Alan, and MM. Everybody else failed the assignment. They didn't really understand how to approach what the mindset was in order to be able to set themselves up for success. Even if at the end of the experiment, after they go and do the pros and the cons, they can say, wow, as hard as I tried, I don't see this as something that is going to be a viable future, for the both of us. Or, wow, I've gone through this, and I think this is something that if we really take care of it and we, nurture and grow together, then we can make a success out of this. Michael, the who was it? The Colorado season, he did that. And we all thought that he sincerely desired to be married. And he was doing the same thing Juan did, in my opinion. Looking at it after, everything's over. Yeah, I see he and Juan, very similar in their thought process and how they, approached their marriage. I mean, Chloe, she was serious, and he wasn't. He wasn't as serious. So they brought, and then I talked about Madison and David. It seemed like David wasn't going to talk about the timeline, and it got really uncomfortable. And I thought that Pia did a really good job in tying it together, and then she kind of deflected and asked Madison the question in a different way. And then Madison decided that she was going to go ahead and give an answer. And so I thought that with her doing that level of compromise, it kind of rounded everything out and it brought it all together. So there was no awkwardness by the time they finished, the segment. So yeah, y'all go down there and check that out. So then MM and Ikechi are talking. And Ikechi has to, Dr. Cal said that he was glad to hear that Ikechi was taking some accountability, for his behavior. And I have to say I actually agree. Just like I'm giving Michelle that partial credit for saying the right thing out of her mouth, and he did the same thing, even though, especially a man who says that he knows the Lord. I think that he should be more humble, than what he is. I still appreciate the level of information and confirmation that he did give. So I'm gonna leave that right there. So then they take Ikechi off. Well, he decides to walk off as her fiance is coming aboard. And then people have a problem with the with the way that her fiance is. He's very happy, and she's not shocked by his behavior, but other people are. I kind of see him the same way that he was when he was on the show. Those that when we got introduced to him, I didn't expect him to be as free, as he is, and I'm sure This is my speculation again. I don't think that she was prepared to talk about the miscarriage, and he was just so full of something that he had to talk about it. So that was interesting. He asked Dr. Cal to marry them, and um, Dr. Cal told him, let's talk about it offline. So I thought that was really cool. He didn't allow himself to be pulled into the moment. So that was a good show of good decision making. I like that. So then I think that that's when they bring everybody back, and then they're talking. I like the last segment. It's on the one where it says next episode. It seemed like at first, when you kind of think about it, it's kind of cheesy, but I thought that some of the answers were a little interesting. So you might want to check that out, as well. Where are we? I'm at 25 minutes. Oh my goodness. I did not anticipate having to talk this long. So yeah, that's just kind of like an overview. I probably forgot some stuff that I wanted to say, but hopefully I got it all in there. And I'll see you guys for the next one. The Where Are They Now should be. I didn't. I don't think I checked the schedule. I think I just assumed that it was gonna. No, I didn't assume it because they said next episode, but I haven't gone to the listing to actually look and see what it is, what it says. So that's gonna do it for me. I think that I think that I've been fair. I've been as fair as I can be. I have criticisms of David. I have criticisms of Madison. I have criticisms of Alan and MM. I just haven't voiced those because I see a lot of myself, in them, and I understand why they made some of the decisions that they made during the season. So I'm giving them a lot of grace. But yeah, I do have, I've said criticisms, and I've done it lightly, but I've said them. Yeah, I think I've given it to everybody. Did I give it to Karla? Let me see the Where Are They Now, and then I'll let you guys know what my final decision on that is. So yeah, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Bye.